Video strategy guide. So what is this? It's a service slash product, more of an information product, depending on how you structure it. But I mean, we'll deal with that in a second. But it helps people, I'm assuming, level up their video game skills and complete games faster. Um, I mean, I could add a personal line here as far as whether or not I like the business or not from, you know, essentially from the standpoint of whether or not it resonates with me versus I'm opposed to the business metric. Like I, for example, I don't think it is the greatest use of a man's time to level up a video game character in a game versus leveling themselves up in real life. People will spend not even hours or days or weeks, sometimes months and even years of their life playing video games to level up a character. Again, this is an avatar in a game, a fictional world, to earn whatever the currency happens to be. Gold, bullions, whatever the hell. But they'll make up some sort of currency within most games. I can make an entire video on how they hook you and get you sucked in on that. Comment below if that's something you're interested in the future. But they'll spend all this effort and resources leveling up in a game, but be a loser in real life. And it's fine if you've done something with your life. I get it. If you've done something, you put it into the universe, you've done something of significance, you solve problems. You're doing something in the real world, making real money, solving real problems with real people, and have a real good network. And you're like, fuck it, I'm going to put my feet up and play some video games tonight. That's different. You've already done the work. Relax, put your feet up for an hour or two, play a video game. I'm addressing specifically people that spend way too much time playing video games. So this business model that was presented to me here is video game strategy guides. And the description that I got on that was to accelerate and skills faster, to complete games faster, and level up faster. So let's evaluate this business idea. Do you need employees? No, probably not. This is something that you could generally run yourself. So I'm going to give it a 10. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to score these up at the bottom and take a look across. And then this will easily demonstrate to us which business stands out, which would be a good business to run, which one would be, or which one would generally not be the best ones to run. So I'm going to put a 10 there because you could probably do this yourself throughout its entirety. Recurring revenue. If you built a community into it, if you built some sort of recurring billing assistance, this would be ideal if you're building something for a video game or see, if you do something where it's a one-hit wonder. Flappy Bird would be an example. Not many people know what Flappy Bird is watching this right now because it's going to date me back over a decade. But Flappy Bird was a game that people played 2008 or 10, like in and around that space or so, and it was the stupidest freaking game ever. I think it sold for quite a lot of money when it sold, and it sold very, very quickly. But everybody was talking about and playing it. But if you wrote a strategy guide for something like Flappy Bird, it's an in and out. It's a one-hit wonder versus something like Zelda or World of Warcraft, which has a large following over a long period of time. Games where you level up from level 1 to 80 to 160 and so on and so forth into perpetuity, keep players in for a longer period of time, so the chances of building recurring revenue are far greater. So if you're going to do a video game strategy guide, those are the types of games that I would recommend targeting. Can you build something with recurring revenue? Absolutely. I'm going to stick a 10 there. Is it sellable? Something is generally sellable if you have either recurring revenue or if you have a book of business, like a list of customers. With something like this, I'm going to say yes, although I don't think the market would be that great. So I'm going to score it an 8 there. Can sales grow to $1 million a year? Not easily, and maybe with some potential and some work. You'd have to build a large business out of this, which is going to require the need for employees / contractors. So that 10 would go down, and maybe you could throw a number here. I'm generally speaking for the vast majority of people that are going to sell video game strategy guides. I'm going to say probably not. So I'm going to give this a 5 because it's not the type of business that I would deem worth more than $1 million a year in annual sales. Is it in high demand? Probably ish. I think there's a lot of people that play video games, although I don't know how many people that play video games need strategy guides. So this is gonna be a bit of a guess, but I'm gonna give it a 7.5. Is it location independent? Absolutely. This is something you can run from anywhere in the world. Government regulations, government's not gonna probably not gonna bother you with this. I'm not gonna say definitively not gonna bother you with this, but the chances are very, very low. There's gonna be attorney generals, FTC regulations governing how you write your guides, what's in the guide, how you charge for the guide when you release the guide information. It's unlikely. Can it be bootstrapped? Yes, absolutely. Is it a painkiller or a vitamin? It's more of a painkiller, I'm gonna go with. So, I'm gonna put on the higher end, although it's not something that's in higher demand, like, health-wise, right? Like, if you get up in the morning and your health is completely deteriorated and you've suffered, you're gonna know about it and you have to deal with it. Video games more of a luxury, so I'm gonna give this around a 7. Ease of marketing, I think it would be reasonably easy to market this. You could target people that, are in Facebook groups, social groups, communities, that talk about certain, uh, games, they play. You can even dedicate a YouTube channel to it. I mean, Minecraft has loads of YouTube channels that are dedicated to it. So I think the ease of marketing is reasonably high. In fact, I'm gonna change the 7 to an 8 now that I've sort of brainstormed through that. You guys are seeing how my mind works here, right? Freedom, um, yeah, you can pretty much run this business at any time of the day, anywhere in the world, so I'm gonna score that high. I'm gonna give it at least an 8. And is it an info service or a physical product? It is not a physical product unless you do print strategy guides, which you can do on Amazon. If you do digital strategy guides, courses, more specifically, then it's definitely more of an easy lucrative fun type of business. So, while there might be the need for some physical shit, like books, for example, it doesn't take much to publish on Amazon, to be honest with you. You don't have to print the books and ship them, like, they take care of all of that for you, so it's reasonably high as far as the business model goes. Low business models are physical products. If you take a physical product, again, we're gonna use our calculator here, our trusty calculator. You're gonna have to procure these. You have to find a factory that makes this shit, which I'm guessing probably comes from China. This one says Trev or some shit like that on the back as far as a brand, and it is made in China, of course, as Donald Trump would say, China. So this is a Chinese product. You would probably go to Alibaba, find this shit. You could buy 1 crate of it. You could buy a shipping container of it. You could buy 5 shipping containers of it. The more of the shit you buy, the lower it's gonna cost. It's reasonably robust, but things will break. The solar display, the screen could break. You could have issues with shipping. Things could get lost with shipping, returns with shipping. So physical products for me score lower on business ideas than information or service-based products. So do you understand the difference now? Because we're talking about a video game strategy guide, it's more digital, or you could print them off Amazon, which is reasonably easy. So I'm going to give it about an 8. Okay, so let's score this up. Where is the button? Got a 116. Cybersecurity courses. So this guy mentioned creating, implementing, and monitoring security plans for your company. I like this business a lot more than video game strategy guides. So I'm not giving it a rich score or anything like this, but if I had to, this would get a 10, like rich score. It sounds like I'm talking about like Doug DeMuro, right? The Doug score. Um, so we got creating, implementing, and monitoring security plans for companies. So let's do this. Um, let's just sort of brainstorm. So this is a service-based, probably software as a service, service-based type of product. And what they'll do is they'll probably probe, poke at, and monitor your security plan on a consistent basis to make sure everything's up and running, the firewalls work, backups are working. Like there's all kinds of shitbags out there when you get into business. I'm going to tell you right now, there are people out there that have nothing better to do with their time, and they will poke and prod at businesses. And then if they can get through your security measures, they'll capture your database or your customer list or customers' credit card numbers. And then what you'll get is an email from, like, you'll go into work one day and you'll try to log in. And you won't be able to access your shit. And you'll be like, your staff will be like, I can't log into the system. I can't open the files. It's all gone. Your IT guy looks at it and he goes, we got hacked, right? some mofo from fucking some country somewhere that you barely know how to pronounce the name of the city, due to send you an email, send me 7 Bitcoin, otherwise you're not gonna get your database back. So cybersecurity is a viable business. People get, like, hit hard, and it's very costly to them. So to pay a little bit of money a month for something that, creates, implements, monitors, and probes your plans for your business, I think is a great idea. So what's the first one here? Need for employees? Unfortunately, yes. So we're gonna score this pretty low. I'm not a big fan of having staff, okay? A lot of what I talk about in my course at the School of Entrepreneurship, um, encourages you not to have employees for a whole bunch of reasons. I'll give you some right now. I get into greater lengths within all the course material. But for example, the problem with employees is they're very expensive, they're very inefficient. If you can automate or outsource something, it's far better than having an employee. Minimum wage keeps going up. You've got source deductions, you've got payroll taxes, employment insurance, health insurance tax. You got all these fucking deductions and sources to pay either an employee and or the government. It's usually both, obviously. And then you've got issues with they call in sick, they're banging each other, HR is getting calls over shit, all kinds of bullshit. They're inefficient. There's a, there's an old joke that I heard in the circles when I was traveling in Entrepreneurs Org. It was something along the lines of you ask an employee how long they've worked there, and then their answer as the employee is ever since they threatened to fire me. So the employee will do this much, which they think is what the maximum or what their requirement of the job is to be compensated for the pay. Generally, the employer's expectation is up here. So there's this gap. Most employees think that this is what they need to do to get their pay. This is what employers think. So employees are not the best way to go forward with businesses. And then you've got all kinds of weird shit that you're dealing with today. Like there's most people that you're going to hire are not A players. It's very, very difficult to get A players. So avoiding employees where possible is a good idea. Actually, I'm going to change this now that I've sort of brainstormed this through a little bit. So need for employees, because I think you can outsource a lot of this. Not a lot, but you can outsource a lot of it. So I'm going to change this to a 4. Recurring revenue? Absolutely. Yeah. You would definitely put every customer on a recurring revenue model. Pay X number of dollars a month, 297, 997, 27, 13, whatever the hell it happens to be. It's going to be a monthly recurring plan for sure. It's like software as a service. Is it sellable? Fuck yeah. Yeah, definitely sellable. Can it grow sales to $1 million a year? Fuck yes, it can. Absolutely. These businesses are extremely lucrative. Is it in high demand? The problem with the demand factor for cybersecurity courses is people demand them after they've either been hit or somebody else hit them. And most people don't think about this as a new startup. So you want to target medium to large size businesses because they've got the bandwidth, the money, and they've probably been hit or heard something that's been hit. So depending on how you structure it, definitely a high demand. I'm going to give it a 9. Location independent. Potentially. I'm gonna give it a 12 because there's gonna be some requirement for face-to-face for many of this. Not a ton, but there's gonna be some requirement. Government regulations, they're gonna exist, but not to a high degree. So I'm gonna give this like a 10 for government regs because government won't be up your ass about this too much. Gonna be bootstrapped? Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. That's out of 15. I'm gonna give this a 13. It's gonna take some programming work. Painkiller or vitamin? More of a painkiller, so that's a good business model, so we'll give it a 10. And ease of marketing. If you market to mid-size and large-size businesses, reasonable. Yeah, I'm not gonna be too generous. We'll call it a 9. Freedom, not really. You're gonna be on call a lot for this sort of shit because you're gonna get calls on the weekends. Until you grow the business to a substantial size and you've got people that are able to answer phones or an IT team that can deal with this sort of stuff. So for freedom aspect, not very much in the early stages, but maybe build it a little higher later on. But I'm going to give it a 5 right now. And let's go with info service product. It is definitely a information tag service product. It's not a product. It's definitely a service because it's recurring revenue. There's no physical product to move around in the mail. You don't need a warehouse. You don't need a physical retail outlet, a location like a Walmart or any of that shit. It's just more or less a service. So fix that box. We're going to call that a 10. Let's total this up, and we'll compare these all in a second towards the end. So that's 122. That scored better. That scored better than a video game strategy guide. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here, and pin down below in the top comment, you'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line, books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.